Trey. What's up, everybody? Sorry, my nephew's hiding on me. But back on the SNA podcast video, let's start off continuing with the wrestling news video, episode of 81, the wrestling news video part 18, the second clip. This is where we're going to talk about more in the wrestling news into the article in the world of professional wrestling. We're going to have to hurry up and make this snappy because I only got a few. Only got a few of these. I'm gonna start with some Aubrey Edwards news. Okay, Mike Chioda doesn't understand perk AEW referees. Get that WWE refs don't. And it says, according to this article right here in the into the Tribalisist world, the Tribalisist of the world of wrestling fandom. AEW hardcores will debate that that and the other thing are all better than WWE, and the other side will return fire in similar fashion. According to longtime WWE referee Mike Chioda, there's one element that undoubtedly favors the relative that kids on the block at least as far as things go for AEW referees. On the latest episode of the Monday Night Mailbag, Mike Chioda also explained that AEW referees have all of their travel expenses while at least some with WWE are footing their own bill. There's referees now still with WWE that don't get any paid for, like Mike Chioda said. They don't get their hotels, cars, or gas, or anything paid for. There's a few of them still, which I don't understand, because AEW referees get all their stuff paid for. Chioda would debut as a referee in WWE in 1989 and counts 27 total years with the company. 27 years with the company. Also made a sporadic appearance in AEW in 2020 and 2022. His last time donning the straps, donning the stripes, not straps, donning the stripes. He was last time he. What was I saying? The stripes, the striped shirt, I should say, the striped shirt before doing so at Ric Flair's last match. In what he says was his final appearance as an in-ring off official. His tenure in WWE also included other roles before the refereeing days began. The the newest of AEW's throws Chioda for a loop when it comes to the pay expenses elements for officials as compared to WWE and its long-standing position as the industry leader, but isn't quite sure the man in charge for so many years is even aware for that detail. And it says AEW around 4 years. Vince McMahon's company 40 to 50 years. He expand. He expand. I don't even think it's Vince. Vince probably doesn't even know that the referees have to pay their own hotels or their own that, but who knows? Wow, like I did not know referees outside of WWE had to pay for their own hotel expenses, their own gas, and everything in their travels. And I bet referees don't get paid that much either. So that's not that it's not that much of a dream of being a referee. Like when it comes to being in the wrestling industry. But yeah. But yeah, they did say he made an appearance on AEW as the referee back in 2020 and 2022. And even last year, like on 2020, also in the last Ric Flair's match. But but yeah, what do you think? What do you think about referees and pro wrestling in general? And what you thought about Mike Chioda's opinion, and also his time as a referee for nearly 30 years? Y'all let me know down in the comments below. We're gonna move on to the next news, and that is some more Bianca Belair news. Is why WWE's Bianca Belair says she didn't know what she was getting into with wrestling. And it says right here according to this article, unlike several of her peers who wrestled for years in the Indies, Bianca Belair took a totally different pace to the WWE. Saw her excel as a track and field athlete and an award-winning CrossFit competitor who initially had no desire to ever enter the pro wrestling business. As the story goes, Belair, after abandoning her CrossFit career due to health issues, was working as a telemarketer in the Atlanta area when contacted by Mark Henry via social media via social media about a WWE tryout. In a recent interview with Baby, this is Kiki Palmer podcast. Not even podcast. It says, according to the Baby, this is Kiki Palmer's her own podcasting video, probably on YouTube. Belair revealed Henry noticed her flair for showmanship while watching a video of hers in CrossFit in competition. When the competition, she said, when I got the CrossFit, I was like, I'm gonna have fun with this, Belair said. So I started making my own outfits. I started grabbing the microphone, taking to the crowd, and turning flips before the competitions. Mark Henry saw a video of me, and he was like, "Hey, have you ever thought about being in WWE because you have the looks, the personality, the athleticism? It's a perfect fit." It was around this time that Belair started watching Total Divas and caught the wrestling bug. Soon enough, she attended 2 WWE tryouts and landed a contract with the sports entertainment juggernaut. and she said, I had no idea what I was getting myself into, Bianca Belair admitted. I walked in and I didn't know how to do a headlock, a wrist lock, a wrist lock, a headlock, a or any of those moves. Belair added she had no idea about the history of the business when she joined WWE. People think WWE is just about doing flips, she said, but it's also the performance part you have to draw people in, and tell stories, have feuds, and you have to do all this on live TV. Yeah, Belair's been doing this for like 7 years. Like, yeah, joining the business in 2016 when she was training at the Performance Center with the likes of Lacey Evans and Britt Baker. But she got a contract, and then she's been doing this ever since. Like she even had an undefeated streak at one hand in NXT until she lost in that NXT title match against Shayna Baszler. But a year later, she got called up to the main roster in like the day after WrestleMania, like in April of 2020. And she's been killing it ever since, like winning most of her matches and even winning the Royal Rumble a year after, main eventing the night one's WrestleMania, being one of the first two African American women to the main event of WrestleMania, and also and won the SmackDown Women's Championship in the process, beating Sasha Banks, and then also held that title until SummerSlam that year when Becky Lynch made her long year and a half awaited return and beat her in 26 seconds. Unfortunately, she tried to go for a rematch, but there was some kind of shenanigans, like some kind of dirty and disadvantaged shenanigans for the EST. So she had to work her way up, beating the likes of Piper Niven, Nikki Cross or Nikki ASH at the time, and so much more. And I believe Rhea Ripley too. I don't know. Like, I don't know if they even had a one-on-one match, but I'd say more like Nikki Cross and Piper Niven and who else? Like, and whoever that was in the Raw brand at the time, until she won the number one contenders match at Elimination Chamber 2022, and she won that night one's WrestleMania, beating Becky Lynch for the Raw Women's Championship in the process in a storytelling, long-term booking storytelling moment. But anyways, but she held that title for over a year until this past June. Like, to Asuka, Night of Champions, she won it right back to her a couple months later at not June, May. It was the end of May, and then it was. And she got back that title 2 months and a half later until losing to the person that's currently holding the championship, which is Io Sky. And it looks like she's going to get a rematch, whether it being a one-on-one against her or with Charlotte Flair involved in the triple threat, which I hope it's just a one-on-one match at Crown Jewel. But yeah, she's been doing very successful, being a 3-time women's champion, I believe, and also winning the Royal Rumble, being the first ever African American woman to main event WrestleMania. The second, I'll say not second, like the fourth or fifth ever, like it depends, I'll say maybe fifth ever because she was challenger when Sasha Banks was the SmackDown Women's Championship. So I'll say the fifth ever woman, the main event of WrestleMania, and also being the longest reigning women's world champion, not women's world champion, the women's champion in this modern day. But yeah, what's next? What do you think's what's next for the EST? And do you think she's gonna join her husband and his best brother homie and their leader Bobby Lashley and him Angelo Dawkins, or her husband Montez Ford, I should say? And do you think she's gonna be the first ever and only female member of the Hurt Business on SmackDown? Y'all let me know down in the comments below. We're gonna move on to the next news. We got some Conan news now as the former WCW star explains why he thinks contract signings have gotten old, I should say. And then it says right here, according to this article, it says recurring tropes have always played an important role in pro wrestling. And the contract signing is now a commonly used storytelling device in modern promotions like AEW and WWE, which I said the totally opposite, but it's really WWE and AEW. According to AAA's Conan on the Keep It 100 podcast, how however the contract signing segments have become overplayed, and he said, "Let me explain to you what I think has happened with the contract signing." Conan said, "Some of my favorite ones were in the National Wrestling Alliance, aka NWA, and the early ones in WWE. When they started brawling and putting people through tables in SHIT like that, it it was really exciting. But then everybody copied." Very excited, but everybody started copying that because it was a successful formula, and it became a formulatic com, become a formulatic. Conan compared the situation to the modern state. Conan compared the situation to a modern state of horror movies, saying that audiences have already seen everything that makes it harder to scare them, or in the cast. I mean, in the case of pro wrestling, to surprise and entertain them. It's hard to make it special. Conan continued. Got you got 2 or 3 hours to feel and you gotta feel it within with something. But something. Yeah, but they should come up other things than the contract signing to make it a little more interesting. What you thought about Conan's comments about these contract signing segments? I thought talking about signing contracts, but you're talking about like when there's like some kind of like making to a segment to a rivalry angle, like with a championship being on the line. Like for an example, like what we could expect was going to happen this coming Friday on Friday Night SmackDown between LA Knight, taking on the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns, but have the contract signing segment this Friday on SmackDown. And we can probably see at least a little brawl with one another, with one of them slamming the other through the table at the end, and them getting the upper hand. Like, which is gonna be exclusively on exclusively on FS1, because the World Series is gonna be on Fox this Friday. And what do you think about it? I think he's right on some things. That it's too like when you keep doing it too much, and including other companies starting to copy off you, it's gonna get very old by the minute. Yeah, like when you don't utilize it in the most, if you don't utilize it in the most perfectionate way, like I should say, something that's perfect, something that's interesting, entertainment, something to have the wrestling fans look forward to, like of watching the wrestling shows. If you guys know what I mean, like I understand where he's coming from that, but I'm gonna let you guys be the judge in the comments below what you think about Conan's opinion on it, because if you use it too much and then you use it in a predictable manner, like it's not gonna get exciting. But anyways, let's. Okay, we got some Eric Bischoff news now as he addresses Sting's retirement match as announced on AEW Dynamite, and it says Sting officially announced his upcoming retirement during the latest episode of AEW Dynamite, set for AEW Revolution next year. While the moment was a cemental, yet a cemental historic one during the latest Strictly Business podcast by Eric Bischoff, or during the latest episode of the Strictly Business podcast, Eric Bischoff cautioned that Sting's last ride towards Revolution won't be a guaranteed ratings hit, and he said, "What the build-up look like is there's a story leading into it. How much promotion goes does it get, how much attention does it get, remains to be seen," he said. Do I think it can increase the numbers? Absolutely. I think it can do. I think it will. Who knows? We're going to have to find out. Regardless of that, Eric Bischoff admitted that he is happy for Sting, that he will get to bring an end to his career on his own terms, which isn't something everyone gets to do in wrestling. That was the case during his original retire following his WWE run, as Sting wrapped things up due to injury, but now the focus is on who will end up being his final opponent. Most fans are looking at members of the AEW roster for who might get that spot, but Eric Bischoff believes someone from Sting's past might be a smarter choice. Which we already heard about that in the news. It was Ric Flair, like that. Ric Flair could possibly be his final opponent at AEW Revolution in his retirement. That's only if Tony Khan agrees to negotiate with the Nature Boy, at least for a one-off appearance in All Elite Wrestling, to wrestle his a longtime rival from 30 years ago, and from his WCW days and in overall wrestling days. But what do you think? Who do you think is gonna retire Sting, or say gonna get that spot and retire? Do you think it's gonna be one of the guys in AEW, or do you think it's gonna be outside of AEW? That's like the hottest free agent in professional wrestling, perhaps. And do you think it's somebody in his past, like a Ric Flair or a Great Muta, or even somebody totally different, or even somebody that's not from his past, someone that's new, and that's like the hottest and biggest talent in pro wrestling? Y'all let me know in the comment section down below. We're gonna move on to the next news now. Is we're going to talk about the former Brian Pillman Jr. As we got some more news about Brian Pillman. We got some more news by Eric Bischoff about Brian Pillman Jr. on WWE's NXT brand as Lexus King. It says right here, Eric Bischoff weighs in on WWE's repackaging of Brian Pillman Jr. as Lexus King for NXT. And it says right here, according to this article, Lexus King, formerly known as Brian Pillman Jr. in AEW, is set to make his WWE debut this week during Night One's Halloween Havoc event. Eric Bischoff addressed WWE's divis, divisive divisive decision or divisive decisions to change the second generation superstars name during the the same Strictly Business podcast, saying, "I like I like it. I really like it." He said I really like it. He said before adding, "I think it give him the best shot po- possible to break through. I really do. I was impressed, very impressed, amazed to see where it goes. I like it." The, the son of the late Brian Pillman Jr., King had used his father's name, surname since his in-ring debut in 2017. He signed with AEW July 21, 2021, shortly after his deal with Major League Wrestling expired. But he this he did he departed in July of this year, and was later reported to have tried out with WWE. He officially signed with the promotion in August, and after a few weeks of videos, which saw Pillman watching and rejecting his father's legacy, Pillman debuted on WWE NXT as Alexis King. He has already made he already made his in ring. He'd already he already made his in ring debut. Working two working two non-televised matches against Brooks Jensen and Riley Osborne on October 13th and 14th of this year, respectively. While while some have made their feelings known on the admission of the Pullman name, King's new moniker similar does similarly pay homage to his family, taking Alexis and King from his stepsister and his stepfather, sister Alexis Reed and Skylar King. And what do you think about Eric Bischoff's liking this version of Brian Pillman Jr.? Do you think it's better than his run in AEW, or do you think he should have stayed as his name, Brian Pillman? Y'all let me know down in the comments below. But yeah, I think he's doing really good and very well. I heard about the Brooks Jensen, his first match with Brooks Jensen in his debut in-ring non-televised house show event where he defeated him, and he's like 2-0 in his WWE career right now in house shows, of course. But it says he's going to make his in-ring debut, his in-ring televised debut it says he's going to make his in-ring televised debut this Tuesday at Night One's NXT Halloween Havoc. And who do you think is going to face the second generation star? Y'all let me know down in the comments below. And then let's move on to the next news. We have Matt Cardona wants to wrestle AEW star, and it says right here, according from the former Zack Ryder on this article, since his WWE departure in 2020, Matt Cardona has made a lot of news on the independent scene, reinventing himself into a multi-time champion, controversial deathmatch wrestler, and even a former NWA World Heavyweight Champion. Looking to the future, the former WWE United States Champion took to X took to X to reveal his ultimate dream match, none other than new AEW arrival Adam Copeland. And I kind of figured he kind of wanted to be in that match. And it says right, and it has a right here where it says where he tweeted out Adam Copeland right here, according to his tweet on Twitter. Hopefully you can see that, and I'll give you a few minutes to see what it says on his caption. And then if you need more time, I'll recommend you to pause this video. Understand why? Dang it. Here you go. Yeah, there it is. But yeah, and it says right here, the answer makes much sense looking back on looking back on their history, both Cardona and his longtime partner Brian Myers aligning with Adam Copeland earlier in their WWE careers as the Edgeheads, and then a pair of self-professed super fans of the rated R superstar, the famously interfered in Copeland's World Heavyweight Championship defense at the Armageddon event in 2007. However, they have yet to meet in the ring one-on-one. In fact, outside of the Royal Rumble match in 2010, they have never stood on opposing side of the ring. Copeland's brief retirement in 2011 put an end to possibilities until his miraculous return at Royal Rumble 2020. But before the two men could have a kind of meaningful interaction, Cardona was released just 3 months later in April. However, the impossible may well be possible after Adam Copeland joined AEW after his own WWE departure. While he has yet to return to the promotion, Cardona did make his debut in 2020 and wrestled a handful of matches. Time will tell whether the stars have finally aligned or not. And what do you think about these about this news about Adam Copeland and Matt Cardona never wrestling a one-on-one match, especially in WWE? Y'all let me know down in the comments below. And do you think that Matt Cardona is going to jump back to AEW, possibly signing a multi-year deal, at least 2 to 3 years? I'll say 3 years because I think that's the minimum of a year contract deal. But do you think he's going to do that just to face his former leader of the Edgeheads? Or do you think that he's not gonna face him in any time soon and possibly gonna join WWE perhaps when he gets that opportunity with the best booking and the higher offer they're gonna offer him? But for now, he's gonna probably continue to kill it into the independent scene as the internet, the most fan hating the internet wrestling star that he is in the independent scene. And yeah, I remember him debuting as the Edgeheads. Like him and Brian Myers was the Edge clones. Like what me and my brother used to call them. Like when they used to interfere in the Undertaker's matches with Edge when he was the World Heavyweight Championship at the time in 2007 and 2008. But they started being a tag team of their own. They had their own names, known as Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins. And they even won the WWE Tag Team Championships against John Morrison and The Miz. And they held those titles until the end of 2008 or early 2009 until Carlito and his brother Primo beat them for the championships. which they went on to WrestleMania 25 to unify them against Miz and Morrison with the World Tag Team Championship. But like a decade later, they won the titles again against the future FTR, which they were formerly at that time known as the Revival. Dax Harwood was known as Scott Dawson, and Cash Wheeler was Dash Wilder. But yeah, and then they unfortunately lost the titles a couple months later after they got a couple of successful defense. And then they were nothing but jobbers chasing for the 24/7 championship. And then at the beginning of the year, they got into a short programming with the Scottish Warrior, he was formerly known as the Scottish Psychopath, and he was winning. And they put over Drew McIntyre in the beginning of 2020, of the start of his face turn, of possibly winning the Royal Rumble and taking on Brock Lesnar, which he did so. And unfortunately, a few months later after that, they got released from the Black Wednesday. And then there's been talks about him if there's offers like a great offer he couldn't refuse in WWE, he would take it. And also he would if the money was looking good on the deal and also good storylines for me to be in, probably referring to being in a big time main event feud with his best friend Cody Rhodes. I'm saying they were friends in and outside of the company. And then he met his wife Chelsea Green because of his wife. But anyways, yeah. But we're gonna figure this out. What's gonna happen? I was just thinking about just the other day before Matt Cardona posted this on Twitter. I was like, if Matt Cardona ever decided, he would probably be in a match with Edge, because he used to be his minion, one of his minions, next to Kurt Hawkins, also known as Brian Myers in Impact Wrestling. I was like, when does Brian Myers' Impact contract deal expire? And they could be a trio again, being the Adam and Adam heads. They'll be styling in the short heads, possibly dyeing their heads blonde, something similar to Adam Copeland, and then there'll be his new minions. But I'm not sure if he should do that because he's too much of a main eventer to be anybody's minions at this point, Matt Cardona, and outside of AEW and WWE. And hopefully wherever company he goes to, WWE or AEW, gets him first. When it comes to this conversation, I hope the best for him and be recognized as the main event star that he is. But anyway, let's move on to the next wrestling news. As we got some Dave Meltzer analyzes current TV rights landscape amid AEW and WWE negotiations. And it says right here, with the recent announcement that WWE SmackDown will be moving off of Fox and back to the USA Network, just as WWE is entering a period of negotiation over the media rights to all the other programming they have on USA. Some are wondering if the multi-billion dollar increases that wrestling promotion have seen from networks are drying up. And it says right here, in the latest Wrestling Observer newsletter, Dave Meltzer points out the major sports like NBA, NASCAR, NCAA, and other leagues are starting to cost more and more in the need for those tentpole live events. Tentpole live events means that as the prices for major sports go up, the budgets available for wrestling programming shrinks. However, the increases that have been asked for have resulted in loss for programming, such the case with the NASCAR Pac-12, which lost interest from ESPN Plus and ESPN Plus and Amazon for its exorbitant asking price. Should networks lose their deals with leagues like NASCAR, the NBA, or others, that could potentially free up more money for wrestling for AEW. Future media right Future media rights negotiations are going to be contingent on the are going to be contingent on the NBA's asking price, as the basketball league is set to negotiate with Warner Brothers Discovery around the same time that AEW will also be seeking a rights increase. Meltzer also notes that SmackDown and WWE programming are more important to USA Network than AEW is to WBD currently, as TNT and TBS contribution fees aren't as affected by AEW programming, as USA expects its contribution fees to be greatly boosted by the addition of SmackDown, while the contribution fees aren't affected. WBD still goes. I mean, WBD still does plenty of pay-per-view business with AEW and has reportedly suggested the AEW increase its yearly pay-per-view. And what do you think about these TV rights and negotiations differences between AEW and WWE? Like with WWE deal with Comcast and the USA Network, and also Tony Khan's TV deals with TBS and TNT with Warner Bros. Discovery. Like, in about the comparisons with TV network, like with TV shows and sporting events such as basketball, like they're at the end of this year, beginning of next year, they're gonna finish their negotiations into TV rights and into Warner Brothers Discovery side of things. And then again with SmackDown, they're going back to USA, but this time on Fridays, because their 5-year deal with Fox is almost up. And I'll say this was a great run while it lasted, because even in the pandemic era, it was the most entertaining show to watch in pro wrestling, if not the whole entire TV marketing, if that makes sense. But y'all let me know all about this in the comment section down below. We're going to move on to more news now. Okay, we got some Carlito news now, as WWE's Carlito recalls early reaction with John Cena ripping off Razor Ramon. He said when a debuting Carlito defeated John Cena for the WWE United States Championship in 2004, he was understandably the target of envy from the peers in the locker room. Thankfully for Carlito, Cena helped him navigate those chopping waters and earned the acceptance of his fellow wrestlers. Reflecting on those early years, Carlito remains grateful to John Cena for easing him into the spotlight to win a championship on this first night was a crazy one. You have to deal with people in the back who were who were uh who were like, "Oh, you're the next whatever," I have dealt like that, but I have dealt with people like that, people with it before, and knew how to conduct myself. Carl Carl ex- Carl explained to the Cheap Heat on the Cheap Heat podcast, and Encino couldn't have been a greater partner. A partner he's saying he helped me out a lot. I thought he was ripping me because he was so nice to me during the day, and when we locked up that first kick to the stomach, I was like, I see what's going on. I see what's going on here, but hey, he just hits that hard. Laughs like he was laughing. Carlito Carlito's Caribbean cool gimmick was based on him spitting spitting a piece of apple in the face of people who don't want to be cool when asked about the origins of the character. Carlito uh, con- conceded that he ripped off elements from a legendary gimmick. If you notice, if you notice my of a legendary gimmick, he said, if you notice my vignette were basically a ripoff of Razor Ramon, a old vignettes of like old vignettes. Carlito said in one of those vignettes, which he's referring to Razor, spat spat something like so. So in mind, I was at a fruit stand. I should say. He said so. So in mind, I was at a fruit stand, and the fruit vendor was asking me to pay for whatever, and I ended up spitting in his face. Vince McMahon was looking back at it. Vince McMahon was looking back at it. Love it, love it. He said, I I want you to keep doing that. I never thought it was I thought it was a takeoff the way I did. I'm not I my apologies. This is a blooper moment. Like Vince McMahon was looking back at it and love it. He said, I love it. Looking at it and like, I love it. I want you to keep doing that. Yeah, I never thought it was take off the way it did. And ever since his apple spitting gimmick, it made him a fan favorite, and everybody's starting to be interesting on what was next for the Caribbean cool former Intercontinental and United States champion Carlito, and then he won belts like that, like I just said, the Intercontinental and United States Championship, and he also won the Tag Team Championships and unifying both the WWE and World Tag Team Championships with his brother Primo on the 25th anniversary of WrestleMania, and and also uh and also Carlito just recently made his return, like since his first return at Backlash, but that was before he signed any WWE deal, and that's when he pulled off from every independent booking, wrestling booking, and started going and started waiting for that time to come, which it did at this month's pay-per-view at Fastlane, when he teamed with Santos Escobar and Rey Mysterio to take on Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits, Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins. And he's been back ever since. And it looks like you're gonna continue this feud with the Hurt Business, like possibly Carlito leading to Carlito facing Bobby Lashley one-on-one in this rivalry, like trying to get some kind of retribution on Bobby Lashley, what he did to him in over 17, like about, I don't know, perhaps 16, 17 years ago. And what do you think about this? And what do you think about Carlito's return? What do you thought about his confession about John Cena's the reason why he became the star that he became? And also the gimmick where he took a cheap knockoff of Razor Ramon, but his own version of doing that with the old vignette, except whatever that Razor Ramon was spitting, he spit an apple into the vendor's face because he didn't seem pretty cool. And then that's when he said Vince McMahon was very convinced to that gimmick, and he's like, "Come on, keep on doing that. Like that's money right there." Probably looking like Don Callis when he saw Daniel Garcia doing that dance. And what do you think was next for the Caribbean Cool, especially as the OWO with Rey Mysterio and Legado del Fantasma with Santos Escobar, Cruz del Toro, Joaquin Wild, and Zelina Vega? Y'all let me know down in the comments below. We're going to move on to the next news now. Is we got some Chris Statlander news now. Is the reigning TBS champ Chris Statlander narrowly defeats Willow Nightingale on AEW's Battle of the Belts. And it says right here, Chris Statlander defended her TBS championship on last night, the eighth Battle of the Belts special against Willow Nightingale. Just last week on AEW Collision, Nightingale came out to assist Sky Blue following her loss against a loss to Chris Statlander. Then Wednesday night on Dynamite, Statlander indicated that she was looking forward to defending her TBS title against Willow Nightingale as she felt she was a worthy challenger. And you can check that out on my this past Wednesday on Dynamite review. And then it also says right here, last night Nightingale proved Statlander assessment to be correct, or assessment. Statlander she proved Statlander's assessment to be correct as the pair put on a very even match. Nightingale was the first to gain an advantage in the match after the bout spoiled out to the floor. However, that advantage didn't last too long. The two soon traded body slams before simultaneously knocking each other down with big boots in the face, and then later with double clotheslines, then a running knee dazed Nightingale briefly giving Statlander the advantage. Statlander began climbing the top rope, but was met there by Nightingale, who delivered a Death Valley driver, which is my signature move, the most dominating move in all sports entertainment. From the top, Nightingale went for a top rope maneuver, maneuver, I should say, top rope maneuver of her own, but Statlander caught her on her shoulders, or caught her, caught up to her before she could succeed, and gave her a power bomb from there. Statlander went to the top rope once again, and this time was successful with a 450 splash for the win. After after the match, Statlander tried to shake hands shake Nightingale's hand, but Sky Blue came in to stop it. However, Nightingale shook Statlander's hand anyway. Shook Statlander's hand anyway, as Sky Blue watched her uh, get a disgusted look. And what you thought about last night's match, which I kind of reviewed, but I just didn't have nothing to see to tell you guys what happened, what exactly went down with AEW Dynamite not Dynamite, AEW's Battle of the Belts after Collision. Make sure you check out my video of the Collision / Battle of the Belts video I made last night. And we're gonna move on to the next news now. As Jon Moxley makes his presence felt, followed world tag title match on AEW Collision, and it says right here, Ricky Starks continued his feud with Bryan Danielson and Bryan Danielson's Blackpool Combat Club last night. Blackpool Combat Club's Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta stepped into the spotlight to challenge Ricky Starks and Big Bill for the AEW Tag Team Championships. The match was the first title defense for the champions, who won the tag title on the October 7th edition of AEW Collision in a bout against FTR that lasted less than 5 minutes. Needless to say, last night's bout was considerably longer and far more competitive. Starks and Big Bill made frequent tags as they insulated Wheeler Yuta, not allowing him to tag for a lengthy period of time to begin the bout. By the time Yuta made it to his corner to make a tag, Claudio Castagnoli was nowhere to be found, as Ricky Starks had already attacked him. Finally, a fresh Claudio Castagnoli was tagged in and immediately gained the advantage in the match, even walking to the top rope before delivering a move to Starks, reminiscent of Ricky Starks himself. However, when Wheeler Yuta tagged in moments later, the team lost control of the bout until Claudio Castagnoli returned to the match and began his swing maneuver, with Wheeler Yuta about to go for the move off the move off the top rope. The House of Black made their third appearance on of the night. Their third appearance of the night. This time, effectively assisting Ricky Starks and Big Bill into secure to victory. With Starks and Big Bill watching the House of Black attacked defeated Yuta until Brian Danielson and FTR came in even even and even up the battle. Finally, John Moxley made his return and came into the ring to fight off the House of Black, Ricky Starks and Big Bill. As he was leaving the ring, Moxley attacked Orange Cassidy, who was making his entrance to the ring for his match to open the Battle of the Belt special, which we're going to talk about it right here. And it says right here, AEW Battle of the Belts, John Silver versus Orange Cassidy. Welcome. And it says, welcome to the Wrestling Inc.'s last night's Orange Cassidy is going to be defending his AEW International Championship. John Silver was this past Friday's Battle of the Belt episode. Episode of AEW Rampage. John Silver defeated Kit Sabian and Brother Zay to earn last night's match. Also, Chris Statlander was defending her TBS championship against Willow Nightingale afterwards, while Samoa Joe is putting up his AEW TV. I'm not AEW. His Ring of Honor TV title. My apologies, guys. TV title against Tony Nese. The last scheduled match is the Acclaim with Anthony Bowens, Matt Caster, and Daddy Ass Billy Gunn defending their World Trios title against Daddy Magic, Matt Menard, Cool Hand, Ange, Angelo Parker, and Daniel Garcia. The show opened up with FTR and the Blackpool Combat Club leaving the ring after Collision. Insane main event of Collision. Cassidy's music plays and Cassidy shoves leaving John Moxley. Moxley goes after him, but the referee steps in, and they were going at it, and then the bell rings, and Reynolds steals Cassidy's glasses. Silver put his hands in Orange Cassidy's pocket. Cassidy hits a headbutt to Silver, then a toupee, that's what it. A toupee to Reynolds to get his glasses back. Silver tries for the big boot. Cassidy is too quick. Silver whips Orange Cassidy around the ring. I should say, whips him around the ring. Cassidy repeatedly hits Silver's Silver head onto the turnbuckle. Silver holds Cassidy upside for a few, and then gets a 2 count. Silver and Cassidy are now on the edge of the ring. Silver holds Orange Cassidy by the arm, throwing Cassidy onto the edge of the ring apron. Silver tosses him again. Back from the break. They are They are back in the ring. Uh, Cassidy is in the middle of the ring, getting kicked, getting kicked, getting, uh, getting kicked. Cassidy gets back up, a shotgun drop kick to Silver, kicks now to Silver in the middle of the ring. Cassidy is fired up. Silver counters the DDT for a 2 count. Slum Slumdog Millionaire in a face breaker, I should say face breaker, but Silver still kicks out. Orange Cassidy is distracted and gets a hit with the AEW International Championship. By Silver goes for the pin, but Orange Cassidy kicks out. A few more kicks, but Cassidy is resolute. He gets an orange punch for the win, retains his international championship, and I guess we're gonna end this video with Nia Jax. With Nia Jax news now, I should say. And what you thought about some of the recaps of the Battle of the Belts, y'all let me know down in the comments below. Why Nia Jax is excited to wrestle Rhea Ripley and Raquel Rodriguez following WWE return. And it says right here the scene with the WWE's women's division is different than when Nia Jax left it in 2021, but the star is back and ready to mix up with new opponents. Jax was a recent guest on After the Bell podcast, and she talked about how the playing field has changed. She said, "Back when I was first when I first tried out, I always been the bigger girl." Jax explained. So seeing the roster, I'm like, how cool, would it be to be to be a part of this big powerhouse roster coming from a different era. This is a new era, so I'm going to have a change entire way to working. It's going to challenge me mentally. It's going to be like a mental exercise. A mental exercise just is excited. Just Jax is of a mental exercise, I should say. My apologies for saying that, staticking. My apologies. But anyway, it says Jax is excited to face Women's World Champion Rhea Ripley in a fatal 5-way match for the title in Saudi Arabia at Crown Jewel. Jax said she loves her and called her a powerhouse in the ring, and mentioned Ripley is the first person to make her bleed. She's also excited to face Raquel Rodriguez, comparing their recent match to the likes of two other larger than life performers. She said, I was Bam Bam Bigelow, getting up and going off the top rope, and doing some crazy shit, being as big as he was. People are like, like big people can do that and do that. Like, and now I can do these things. So I'm excited about it, Jack said. And what you thought about what Nia Jax said about her liking to face the current WWE Women's World Champion Rhea Ripley and Raquel Rodriguez? Y'all let me know down in the comments below. And also, what do you think about her comparisons with Bam Bam Bigelow about doing top rope maneuvers just like him, like in his days in the 80s and 90s? Y'all also let me know about that in the comment section right down below. And yeah, the next month's pay-per-view, they're also going to have the Women's World Championship in a fatal five-way match with Rhea Ripley defending her Women's World Championship against Raquel Rodriguez, Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, and Zoe Stark. And what do you think? What do you think? Who do you think is going to win this match and walk out as the Women's World Heavyweight Championship with these 5 powerhouse women? And what do you think about the match in general? Do you think it should have been a fatal 5-way match or some kind of a triple threat match or 4-way match? Also, let me know about that in the comment section right down below. And I guess I'm going to end this video right here. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. And if you did, please give me a huge thumbs up. Comment down below. Subscribe. Click the bell notification bell so you won't miss my upcoming new videos. And make sure you share it with your friends and family. And grow this channel up to the top, to the very top, like the other YouTubers getting million subscribers. And I'm going to work on my journalism skills, and mine's not really doing good much is because my allergies got to me, and I was a little tired at first, but I'm not even tired right now. It's just my voice all grumbly. I get due to my allergies right now, and my nose is stuffed up and stuff. Like, yeah, for those allergic viewers, y'all would probably understand what I'm talking about right here. But anyways, tomorrow night I'm gonna do something that's very rare and do something that it's gonna be a start of a new I'll say promotion. It's gonna be a promotion to the SNA podcast, and I'm gonna do and that is a new wrestling news video. It's gonna be another wrestling news video right before I do, way before I do my Monday Night Raw reviews. I'm still gonna do the wrestling reviews, but I'm thinking about doing the wrestling news video for Monday, October 23rd. But yeah, we're going to talk about more of the wildest wrestling news stories and rumors you need to know. And I know this is going to be exciting. This is going to be surprising. I realized this when I did that 2 days and almost a week and a half ago when AEW was on Tuesdays for the Tuesday Night War with NXT. I did a wrestling news video on that Wednesday, the Wednesday afterwards, along with doing my usual Thursday news video. But yeah, yes, sir, ma'am, I'm finally going to do a wrestling news video. I'm gonna start doing it on a daily basis, like on Mondays, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sundays, like the whole 7 days a week, like those other YouTubers, like What Culture Wrestling, Slat Rock, WrestleMania, like all those inspired wrestling news journalists, YouTuber journalists, I should say, have me motivated and inspired to do it. That I can do it on a daily basis, just like them. And I'm going to be doing that along with doing wrestling reviews. But make sure you check that out tomorrow afternoon, like less time today. And also hope you guys enjoyed, like I said. And I've been your host, Super Ninja Austin. But yeah, tomorrow will be episode 82 of the SNA podcast, the wrestling news. And also episode 83 will be the Raw review. Hopefully y'all guys will enjoy that. And hopefully you guys will enjoy this. And then this is the 81st episode of the SNA podcast, wrestling news video part 18, and then we're going to be doing wrestling news videos part 19, along with the Raw review part 11. Make sure you check that out. But in the meantime, stay good to yourself. Have a great Sunday. See you all tomorrow night and tomorrow afternoon. But in the meantime, Super Ninja Austin, the assassin, is out of this video. Goodbye. Y'all have a great Sunday, like I said, and weekend.